Hi, I'm Kelly, I'm your Pampered Chef consultant, and today I just wanted to share a quick recipe with you. It's taco night at our house, and I like to use fresh ingredients whenever possible. So we have a great farm just down the road from our house. So we picked up some fresh tomatoes, onions, jalapeno, and I had some fresh cilantro on hand. So I'm gonna put together a quick pico de gallo. I'm gonna show you a couple of tools that I use all the time in my kitchen. To start with, we have the flexible cutting mats. And these come in a set of three. There's three different colors. There's markings on the mat that help if you're dicing and chopping and julienne and things like that, that you can help with some measurements. The great thing about these mats is they're flexible. So when you're done cutting, you can pick it up, fold it in half, and dump it into the pot you're cooking in, or whatever the case may be. They also have a non-skid backing on them. So when you put them down on the counter, they don't really go anywhere. So that helps keep everything still while you're cutting it. So the main product that we're going to use today is the manual food processor, and that's this lovely little tool right here. As you can see, it's not huge. It's big enough to make some fresh ingredients for a family of 4 or 5, but it doesn't take up a lot of room in your cupboard. And it's 4 pieces. So the top of it that actually spins the blades is right here. And the great thing about this is that it has this little locking mechanism that locks the handle down, so it helps keep it compact in your cabinet. And then you have the blades that go inside, the actual bowl, which has some measurements here on the front of it in case you need that. And then there's also a lid that goes on it so that when you're done making everything, you can just put the lid right on it, one pot. You're not washing extra dishes, stick it in the fridge till you're ready to use it. If there's leftovers, you can leave them in there until you're ready to use it again. Another great feature about this is, again, it has a non-skid ring around the bottom of it, so when you put it down on the counter and you're pushing on it, the bowl isn't sliding all over the place. So I'm just gonna pop the blades in here to start with. And personally, I love pico de gallo, but I'm not real crazy about super hot things. My husband loves hot things. My son loves hot things. Not real crazy about it. I'm kind of a wimp, even though I like the flavor. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit more off that. Cut the ends off the pepper and then cut it open so that I can get all of the seeds out and some of the heat out of it. I'm using our 5-inch Santoku knife. And one of the great things I like about this knife, one, it's big enough to do the job, not like a smaller paring knife or something like that. So if you're cutting something bigger, it goes through. But it's small enough that I feel comfortable with it in my hand. I'm not wielding this giant chef's knife trying to cut through things. And I love that it has the little divots on the side, on both sides of it. So if you're cutting something like cheese or fruit, slicing potatoes, something like that, the food doesn't stick to it as you're cutting through. It kind of, those divots kind of put some air in between the blade and your food, so it helps release the food from your knife so that it doesn't stick while you're doing it. So I'm just gonna cut some of the veins and everything out of the middle of the pepper, because that's where the heat comes from. And I just slice this one more time. So in the comments, I want you to tell me if you're a wimp like me and you like things a little bit more on the mild side, or if you like it as hot as it goes, or what your favorite thing is when it comes to the heat of your food. I'm just gonna get the seeds off there and drop that inside the food processor. The last time I made this, my husband said they were out of jalapenos, and so he picked up some serrano peppers, which was a great surprise because when I put just a quarter of a pepper in it, it was still too hot for me to eat. So he had to eat all of it all by himself. So this is great to have with some chips. You can use it to top some rice. If you're doing that, if you're making some fresh tacos or taco salad, fresh fajitas, something like that. So this works really good, and it's just a couple of ingredients, so it's nice and easy to make. And I like the peppers, of course, chopped up really fine so you don't get a big bite of pepper, so that's one of the reasons why I put them in first. And then I'm also gonna do an onion, and for this batch, I got this wonderful giant bright red tomato from the farm. So I'm just gonna do 1 tomato, and I'm gonna do about a third of this onion. So I'm just gonna cut through that and cut that off. And I'm gonna cut it into some smaller pieces and peel the skin off and put it into the chopper, and then we'll show you how the chopper works. So like I said, put some comments in there, what you like to, how you like to have your, or if you don't even like pico. Some people prefer salsa, it's a little bit wetter, but I really just like the fresh stuff. I love cilantro, which I know some people like it, some people hate it, but I love cilantro, so it's another reason why I really like having pico when we have Mexican food. Throw that one in there, and one more piece. Okay, so I got the peppers and the onion in here, and I'm just gonna put the spinner, the top of it on here, and it fits on there. There's a little piece right here that sits in the cradle of the blades. I'm just gonna turn it this way. There's a big empty spot here so you can hold it down, and then you just chop away. The great thing about this and doing it manually instead of in an electric food processor is you really can control how quickly it's chopping and how finely it's chopping. So that's with a few pumps. I've got it, you know, a pretty coarse chop, and I'm just gonna keep going a little bit until it gets a little bit finer. It's a great stress relief. It's something that you can let the kids help you with if the kids want to get in the kitchen. So they're chopping, but without using a knife, so that you can have a little bit of control and some safety in there. A little bit more, nice and fine. All right. So I'm just gonna set that aside for a second, and then I'm going to cut the tomato into some smaller pieces so that it fits in there. Take that onion skin off of there. The chopper is great for a lot of different things. I use it not just for savory things like this. If you're making a vegetable soup or something like that, it's great to help chop vegetables for stuff like that. But I also use it a lot of times when I'm baking, and I use it to crush graham crackers or Oreos to use either as a topping on a dessert or to use as a base if I'm making like a no-bake cheesecake type dessert, something like that. I'll use the graham crackers in the bottom of the cups that I'm using to have that graham cracker crust type of thing that you do when you're doing a cheesecake, but without having to get the little miniature graham cracker crust from the store. Or if you're doing a cheesecake, a fresh cheesecake, you can make your own crust instead of getting the ones from the store. So I'm just gonna give this a couple of pumps with the few pieces of tomato that I put in there already. All right, and then I'm gonna put the rest of the tomato and put some cilantro in there. And then the other thing that I like to use this for is I like to make my own breading for things. So if I'm gonna put something in the oven, like my own shake and bake type of thing, I will use some crackers of some sort. I like to kind of stay low carb sometimes, so I'll get some low carb crackers, that sort of thing. If you're doing completely low carb and you want to use pork rinds, you can put those in there to crush them up and use the crackers as the breading. You can add some seasoning to it and then make your own breading for things. So I'm just gonna, these are the kitchen shears, and these are, I keep these here in the silverware drawer. We use them for everything. It has a safety latch on it so that when you're in and out of the drawer, they're closed. You're not reaching in and grabbing blades. It also has all of Pampered Chef's products. If there's a sharp blade on it, there's a cover that comes with it. So it comes with a cover that goes over the blades. But these are strong enough. These will cut through if you're boning a chicken yourself. If you get a whole chicken and you want to cut it apart to maybe save a little bit of money than buying something that's already cut, you can do that. So they'll cut through a lot of things. some cilantro in there. That tomato was pretty big, so it's pretty full, but it's still spinning around there. And I'm just gonna grab one of these scrapers, one of the skinny scrapers here, and just kind of push some of this off of here and just scrape around the edge a little bit just to make sure that it's getting incorporated well. Oh, it smells amazing. I wish they would go ahead and invent smell-o-vision for you guys so you could smell the onions and the peppers and the cilantro. Smell great. There's one piece of cilantro wants to stick there in the middle, but as you'll see right there, fresh Pico de Gallo. And if you want to, at the end, you can take a lime, cut it in half. When you squeeze a lemon, lime, anything like that into your food, if you squeeze it upside down and let the juices drip down over it, then you end up no seeds in your food. So you just give it a little bit of a squeeze and let the juices kind of run in there. Just like that. And give it another turn so it incorporates that in there. And we're all done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.